Exactly.
Why does it take 15 minutes to
Uh,
address 2 minutes of
You're like, wait a minute.
the
All the calls in between, okay?
timeouts, and now it's such big business. They do just like with all other sports. They have the advertising go on, so they get
Oh,
breaks
yeah.
to run commercials now. Uh,
Was
which
that
that they were
always
doing
have?
before. Yeah, but it wasn't to the extent that it is
Well,
now. That's why the
I saw
contracts have
now
gotten
that there'll
bigger.
be a timeout and they'll have the football game. They'll do split screen and they run an ad while they're showing the
Yeah,
game.
I know they do that.
I
Yeah,
never
to
saw
get as
that
many.
before.
Oh
So,
yeah, to get as many advertising in. Now that's why the contracts have gotten bigger
That's
on
smart.
both sides,
Yeah.
NFL and NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, the baseball had the biggest contracts, but they play 162 games or 63, whatever. So they play a lot more. So they were making more money. And now, because of advertising, everybody's those 200, $300 million contracts.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they work for it though. I think they deserve it because that's a lot of practice that they go through. Yeah. So.
People willing to pay any entertainment. We're all about entertainment, all across the world.
All across the world. Yeah, we need to be entertained.
I could use a plumber much more than a major league baseball player.
That part. Or somebody to fix cars in your life, know.
Right.
But speaking about entertainment, I know we was having a conversation earlier on
Yes.
the entertainment and our community. It seems like entertainment is just such a big cash cow, and noticing that the entertainment in our community, especially dealing with Black women, have been more so on the sexualization of Black women and
I agree.
and exploiting Black women, and now it's like normalized a little bit in a way that is trickling over even into just everyday life. Like even dating, like you date and a man automatically think that it's going to be something sexual.
Yeah.
Especially, well, in my experience, that's what it is coming to, and it's different than I remember back in the 90s. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the 90s. Because in the 90s, I don't remember as much sexual activity in your face.
Yeah. I don't think it was until like towards the late 90s when there was that shift. We were talking about it before, where in the mid to late 80s, it was the hip hop artists were all about more or less either just like having fun, or it was talking about like Black pride and just empowerment of understanding of history and everything. So you had Public Enemy, you had X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, and so many others. I'm just naming a few off the top of the head. And so they were pushing that, and then it's like that got cut off, and then gangster rap came in towards the late 80s. I want to say it started in the mid 80s, but it really got a strong push towards the late 80s. And then that was that. But it was still, this I know we talked about right before the show here, the dancers used to be just men that were dancing in the videos. And then you saw women dancing, but everyone was clothed. And then by the late 90s, the women were no longer dancing, and now they were just standing there being pretty. And then they got skimpier and skimpier with their outfits. And then they started bringing in strippers.
That was the BET night. Remember when BET shifted and had that night? What was it called?
I can't remember what it was called, but they were showing all those like risque videos, or the
Black Entertainment Network for
the uncut videos,
don't know.
or the
I think it was BET
X-rated videos.
I think it was
might have been
BET. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and they were showing a video, and now you had all the strippers now being the models.
Yeah.
And all the videos, and they were dancing like strippers would
provocative.
dance.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then that, unfortunately, that kind of shaped the minds of the Black community, the females, to wanting to be those people.
because of the attention and the money. It's all money is the root of so much of it. Anyway,
Yeah.
Someone sees, oh, she's doing that. Like, and I'm speaking for women. One woman sees these group of women doing this and making money and getting attention. They're like, oh, I'm gonna do this and get attention. So, and especially if your support system at home
It's
is
not there.
strong,
Yeah.
or not there at all.
So you're getting everything from
you go to that
the television. Yeah.
the same way young men do the same thing, where they emulate gangsters and pimps and all of that. So women were doing that. Now you see, like I was telling you, why is it that, which is mind-boggling to me, every time, and I told you I have some female friends that do this, every time a woman is like, oh, I'm in charge, I'm making money, I'm doing this and that, they say that, and then after they make these statements, it's like they sign off on that statement by twerking. And all the girls start twerking with. I'm like, why do you have to sign off by twerking? Why don't you sign off by showing me your degree, or showing me your business name, or showing me your brand name or trademark or whatever? Why your sign off have to be you bending over, bouncing your ass?
That's because it gets attention from men when they do that, though. So it's just like it comes in two ways, in two forms. So women are naturally here to get attention from men. If what they're doing is getting attention from men, then that's the game.
Yeah.
So the thing is, no man is telling them, don't do that in public. Like, you're a young lady, they don't have any man around them saying that.
We like it. I mean, it's the problem is we like it. I'm not going to say it's the problem. We like it because we're sexual creatures. We're physical creatures.
Yeah.
So we like it. But then, as it's been talked about so much lately, to me it's fun because this has always been talked about, but now because of social media, it's just major. The platform is there to be talked about for in the public eye. But men always go after what they see in the physical attributes of a woman, but that's all it is. Like I tell you, those physical attributes, after a while it fades. Like, you look the way you look, and that's what got me. But it's like, okay, what's between your ears? What else is there? Is that all you got? Like, as simple as we are as men, we're complicated at the same time. Meaning, there's more to me than just the sexual part, because you can get that anywhere, and that's all you bring into the table. And if you think that's all it is, and again, it goes back to the home. Did you have a father in the home that spoke to you and talked to you about men and what a man should be and how you should be treated by a man? Like I always say to you, I think, that's one of the good characteristics that you have with your traits, is that, you come from a 2-parent home and a father that, was there and spoke to you. And
what's the difference? Because you're not going out that house with them booty shorts on. And then who bought the shorts?
Right.
Then mama in trouble. We all in trouble. Right. But that is
sneak.
Right. But that is something else, to talk about is in the Black community, when two-parent homes started to disappear, the late 70s, I think that is when that kind of started to take place. It started to shift. But I think in this day and age, I am seeing a lot of males kind of like hone in on ladies, cover up, ladies, more so of a brother, uncle, father figure type of thing, even though they may like the way it look, and it may, they still are, they're looking, but at the same time, they're looking at the person, the woman, not as an object, but as somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody. So it's really easy for men to shift their perspective and get out of that sexual mind state, but you have to look at that woman as
more than just that.
Yeah.
To me, but then that goes to the mindset of the woman, because I'm one where I like, you know, the woman with me to be very appealing, and everything, where it doesn't bother. Like I like when I'm out with a woman and other men are looking and want, like, that's, you know, bravo to me. Like I'm with her, but it's all in the way she carries herself, you know, to where like I can't always be right next to you. Like if we're at the table and you get up and you go to the bar and you go get a drink, you like, hey baby, I'm gonna go get us some drinks. I'm like, okay. And a man approaches you, it's gonna happen, because he doesn't know that you with someone. And it's, how do you handle that as the woman? Do you get all caught up in the fact that you being looked at by another man, and you don't stop it and put it to an end, and you allow it to be more? So now he comes over to the table. Now I got to check him, because I'm like, man, what you doing? Like, she with me. He like, oh, I bought her a drink. Like, what? And I'm looking at you like, why you let him buy you a drink and you with me?
Yeah. Like, it causes conflict.
Yeah. Right. Like, so what are you doing as a woman? Like, do you need attention that bad?
Yeah.
To where you already getting attention by me, and now we go out and now you need this attention by others. So it's, where is your mind at, and where is your understanding of you and your own security within yourself, to where you're not looking for that outside of our relationship. So it's what?
Well, women, you know, majority of women are looking for any attention. You know, you're going to have a percentage of women that is not looking for attention from men. So that scenario could easily happen majority of the time. Right. I feel like I know a lot of females that say, well, their man don't care if a man buys drinks for all of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, now if we've had that conversation, so communication. If we go into the club and we're completely secure with each other, and we like, yo, let's see if we get some drinks. Like, that might be
something that they do.
We might just be having fun that night and be like, yo, let's see how many dudes buy you a drink. You give me some too. You know, maybe that is how we go into it. But if we haven't had that conversation, and I'm thinking, you know, again, I'm secure with you dressing the way you want to dress, because I like how you dress. But it's how you carrying yourself at that point once we go out. So
basically, you could dress that way if you could carry yourself in an appropriate way.
It makes a difference. A man can tell, you know, I use hoe all the time, which is everything, but a man can tell a woman, let's say a woman that's maybe a little easier than another woman, even if they're dressed the same, just by the way they carry themselves. Because it's a big difference.
But if you real close to looking like the hoe, you might get
you're gonna get pulled in to it.
You might.
That's when the woman has to check it.
Yeah,
I'll give you an answer. I mean, a friend of mine, she told me she was at a gas station and she was getting gas. She was going into the store to pay for her gas, and the dude was like, "Man, you a fine bitch," and blah blah. But that's how he approached her, calling her a bitch, and she was just like, "Oh," and the first thing out of my mouth was, "You didn't check him for saying bitch to you, like he know you, like y'all on that to me." And she was like, she was like, "I like the compliment." And I was like, but that right there. So now when you allow that, then that man takes that and approaches the next woman like that. And a woman that, like I told you before, you can't knock a man for approaching you a certain way. Because I know you told me like a man will approach you a certain way. I'm like, yeah, he approached you that way because it worked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many before you. So it's the woman has to check the man, as well as the man has to have someone that's telling him how to be with women. But then when you have those women who like that type of approach,
it messes it up for the men, the women that have values and respect for themselves. But that scenario, talking about that a couple of years ago, that happened through social media to me. I was in a video on social media leading and I didn't turn my phone off, but leading a vending event, right? And so I was gathering the vendors together, And then, I went into let's do a little meditation before we get started. I don't even know how to cut this phone off.
Meditation before the event?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Get started. So I led the meditation, and somebody grabbed that piece of it and sent it to me. So I put it on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I had on the appropriate dress to me. It's a long dress, but it was kind of, it showed about like this one, but it was long to my feet.
Fitted.
Fitted, yes. I don't know how to cut this new phone off. Okay, Broadbelt.
Okay, we'll just
let
move
the
on.
man do it, because it's going to ring again.
All right, but go ahead.
See, this is how you do. I can't do it. Just give it to the man. He going to figure it out, y'all. Giving y'all some tips.
So, but go ahead.
You did it.
Not yet.
Okay, so
He'll pretend he figured it out.
I know that works too.
Yeah.
So I had a comment in my DM, and he was like, and this dude was like, that ass is looking good. That ass is looking fat. And I was so offended. I'm just like out of the video, you just looking at my ass. And so I messaged him back and was like, that is inappropriate, to comment on, to make that comment to me. And then he was like, inappropriate. You need to be happy that, thank you. See, he did it. You need to be happy somebody commenting you on your old ass.
he got all defensive on it because you checked him on it. That worked on how many other women?
I know.
Exactly.
So, but this is the thing. This is why women, your male community you should have men around you that really care for you, because I didn't retaliate, or I didn't say anything else, but I did let a couple, because I was training at the same gym where he trained at the time. So I did let my trainer know that it bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
So he went back and had a conversation with him.
The guy, yeah.
So that's a male thing that has to be worked out. You know what I'm saying? So like if he did, I'm not sure what their conversation was about, but hopefully going forward, he can kind of, shift in the way he approached women, because to that man, he thought that was okay. So it's always good to have some brothers and some uncles around you that will vouch for you and will take up for just you being a lady, just especially if you present yourself in a manner of being a lady. Right. And that's why it's important for women to present themselves in that way. But unfortunately, because of the entertainment and what they're seeing through social media, a lot of women have grasped on to showing themselves as close to sex workers. Let's be real. It's a lot of sex workers on social media now getting paid to have that picture of the breasts hanging out or things of that nature. It's
because of the money. I mean, and it's always been there. They say the oldest trade or profession is prostitution. Mm-hmm. So it's always been there. It's just now because of social media and everything is just glorified to like the highest level. And because of that is penetrating little kids, young kids. Mm-hmm. So now you're getting that idea
generation of hoes
of young women. So they're being raised in that, and mm-hmm. they're coming into the world with that mindset, mm-hmm. and thinking that that's why it goes back to the home. Now, again, you always got those few that's going astray, but if you have a strong household, then more than likely your chances of not going that route mm-hmm. is that percentage is higher than the others. But then it goes back to money. So many of them are making really good money.
Yeah,
they're making in the mid six figures. Yeah. So you tell a woman in her mind, she's like, what wrong am I doing by just showing off the body that I'm choosing to show off, and I'm making $300,000-400,000 a year doing this. But then it's like, what does that do for a young girl who sees that and think that's the only option?
Right. And are you planning on being a mother? Because the internet is not going anywhere. It's going to be an imprint forever. So when your child gets a certain age, that's what they're going to see. And I think that, some things can't be bought. In my mind, how my children see me is everything.
Yeah. You was what's the word, like instilled that value in yourself. So you take a young woman, does she know of that self-value?
That's where it is, right?
Then it's all external, meaning all of the value she's looking for is coming outside of herself.
Right.
She doesn't realize
that's unfortunate
that she's priceless.
Right.
Right. Young men
she can't be bought. Yeah.
Right. Like you need to have that wealth of knowing that you are priceless, and anything external is just temporary.
Yeah.
But if you need that for reassurance, and if you need that to feel secure, then that's the struggle, and that's the challenge, that we face with those that are young, and then those who, some is just their mindset. Like you're gonna have some, it doesn't matter how much they've been educated or how much they've been spoken to or supported. That's just the way they think. You got to let them just be who they are. But again, it just seems that that's been what's been pushed in entertainment.
Only in our community, though. I don't see I don't see all of the female entertainers that's doing Black music. They are very provocative.
Yeah. Well, that's because you have strippers being like the top artists in hip hop.
So where does that come from to not allow, but that's what they're choosing. That's what they're choosing to back.
But it's reaching
because it doesn't
everybody,
make money.
though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like you have all cultures and races that are emulating this look.
Yeah.
It's more present at home because we're Black. So we're seeing it. And I'm like, but when you look at other cultures, you're starting to see. Even if you look across the board, and you look at just the body work, as far as the physical look of our women. Everybody, that's what I've said to you before. I get tired of going to an event or any type of outside event, and all the women kind of look the same. They all, like, every woman has a butt, every woman has breasts, and then they all made up to where you like, I remember when I was younger, you didn't see as much makeup in none of the artists and entertainers. Now they're done up so much where you're like, what do you really
like a
look
mask?
like? Yeah. And then they all have these these put together bodies that are not theirs. And like I told you, once you do that to your body, because that's not the natural shape of your body, you got to continue to do that, because the body always naturally wants to go back to its original form.
Yeah.
So anytime you shaving a bone here or cutting a bone there and doing stuff, your body is fighting against you, because it's like, that's not my natural shape. That's not how these bones are supposed to
So they got to go back on the knife.
They got to go back under the knife like every 10, 15 years. And every time you do that, anytime you cut into your body, that's trauma to you. But that's why they always say there's a chance you might not walk away from this.
But like you said before, the women that look at that, they want to be like what they're seeing. And unfortunately, that is their role models. So that's why a lot of them women, because the butt implants and stuff started with I don't remember Little Kim doing that. Little Kim was very provocative, but she is now. Yeah. But I remember with what is her name?
A rapper.
Yeah,
Nikki.
She was right. Nikki, yeah. Nikki was the first one that I remember, transforming her body. And then after that,
Just saying it. Well, she got real popular. So again, if you are popular and you're getting all these praises, then again, we talked about it. People tend to want to follow. So if they see this and this is what seems to be working, then they try to duplicate that because they are celebrating that person, which is why they call them celebrities. They're being celebrated by all these people who are just following them. But you don't know what issues they got going on mentally to why they are changing their body like that. Like that's that's some type of insecurity. Whenever you're not happy with what you were brought into this world with, outside of like a clipped lip, or something that's a deformity that you're coming to the world with, that you're getting fixed. When there's nothing wrong with you physically, you're just mad because your thighs are not as big, or your butt is not as big, or your breasts are not as big, so you augmentate your body to look a certain way. That's an insecurity. That's a mental thing. And we so bypass the mental by saying accept this person for wanting to make this decision. But when do we stop to say, well, where are they at mentally?
And when did we start? What happened to the censorship? Like, what? I remember things used to be censored.
It used to, not anymore. Okay,
what happened with our media companies that said, lift the censorship, give them everything that they desire sexually? And what agenda is behind that mindset? I am so confused of why that was allowed.
I don't know. It got pushed more. I remember being young and ass. Like, you wouldn't hear the word ass on any type of program.
Yeah, and what was wrong
at night? And now they shit ass.
It's weird. What is happening
now? It's just like
it's like we don't need to have family time looking at the TV, and I could see two men kissing, and like I am so confused of what happened to our censorship, and why did people have such an issue with the censorship? I don't know who was boycotting against we shouldn't be censored.
Yeah, well, it's natural. I think by nature we rebel, just by nature. I just think that we've gotten to the point where we're just rebelling against any and everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
We want to be free.
It's just like, why? Right? Like, why can't I do this without judgment? And it's the bigger picture, where in the confinements of your own home and your own privacy, you can do whatever you want. But if you're a figure in the public that influences the young mind, that again, that's not fully developed until the average age of 25 to 27 for men and women, they're impressionable. They're sponges taking that in because they've yet to experience life at a level to where they have a good understanding of things.
Right.
So you're a public figure inspiring and influencing that young mind. And again, if they don't have a strong structure at home.
And that's majority, because remember now, we're talking about a large percentage don't have a
single mother homes.
Right. So there is no strong
67%.
Yeah.
The homes.
So still that seems a bit strategized to me. Like, that seems like that's like, it's a lot of people that are very impressionable. So we want them to be dumber than doornails, and we're gonna give them all this sexual explicit behavior. And we're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it ride. So I'm like, what type of nation do you really want? I guess a consumer nation. I mean, I'm just like, what type of nation will it be in the future if this continues to go in this way? And I just feel like it's not just a coincidence.
It doesn't seem like it when I agree. It doesn't seem like it's a coincidence when you see how it continues to escalate, meaning the evolution of it is where, in my opinion, is devaluing the woman. So when you think about, when you mention Lil' Kim, when you talked about her, and like Lil' Kim, I want to say like a Foxy Brown, and I can't think of some of the other rappers, like when it switched from
Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Moni Middle,
and so many other female rappers. It went from them to gangster rap, and then females were coming to the gangster rap, and they were being hard, and then it went to the females were becoming more sexual in their rhymes and saying all type of stuff. And now it's gotten to where they've hit the extreme, where they talk about their booty holes and everything else, and WAP, and all of that is now being expressed, because now, again, like we said, you have the strippers and they're already at their mindset of needing attention,
Yeah.
And they know that attention gives them money, puts money in their pocket, and they're like, well, let me push it even more. And there's no one saying, no, there's a limit. There's no, because we'll let you, in my opinion, the business of entertainment, they'll let you exploit yourself if they're making money off of it. So you're making money, but your percentage is not as high as the organization that put all this together. They're making all the money. And if they think that, yeah, go ahead, exploit yourself, because you exploiting yourself affects your community more than my community.
And then, our community is really kind of bootleg, really, because why is our culture connected to entertainment? Like it's the hip hop culture. Like that is not, when I look at other cultures, it's not connected to music. Ours is connected to entertainment.
Well, everything, even when you think about, like, when they talk about those individuals currently that speak for the Black community, they're all entertainers. I think, like, we talked about this. I think Malcolm X said it best, back in the 60s, when he was saying, why is it that in the Black community, our quote unquote so-called leaders are entertainers, comedians, singers, athletes.
Didn't go to school, no academic.
Where other cultures, their leaders are not entertainers.
Right.
But for us, it's acceptable. Now, it's okay. I'm not saying that they can't be a leader.
For all of them?
Right, but every single, like 90% has to be.
Right.
And that's the questionable part of it. Again, you have these entertainers who don't know that 2 + 2 is 4, and they're saying things at the side of their neck that don't make sense at all, but to a young mind who probably doesn't have, again, any support at home. So they're pretty much raising themselves.
Yeah.
And now they're being raised by what they're seeing off of the TV.
And social media.
Yeah, social media, because now they're on their phones and all that up.
Right.
They're just taking it in and thinking, oh, this is for men and women. Women thinking this is how I'm supposed to operate. Young men are thinking, oh, this is how I'm supposed to operate.
Right. And don't get me wrong, we do have platforms that are great educational platforms.
We do.
Coming from individuals. We just don't hear about it because it's not as loud as the entertainment platforms.
Exactly.
And it would be a wonderful thing if it was a platform that was loud as the entertainment world platform of somebody like, I don't know if you're 19 Keys. He has great content, and he talks about, what it is to be a man, and education and history and things of that nature. But the average teenager is not listening to him. The average teenager is listening to, these artists. I don't even know their name because I'm getting up there in age. But my son tried to keep me, in the now. I think like we have Travis Scott. We have the women. I only know the women really of like Sexy Red and Gorilla. But
all is that when you hear
who wants to be Gorilla though? But
talk,
I don't know.
It's like, is there any level of intellect? And when I say intellect, I don't mean that you need to have a bachelor's.
Sexy Red didn't know what a vulva was. How you don't know the part that you have on your body?
Again, but that's what
she said. We call it coochie from where we come from.
Yeah, but that's what's being pushed, because for one, you can control that narrative, and they're pushing the narrative you want to make money.
Yeah,
and it's blazing the path for the next one to come up behind. Then, like I said, it started in the late 90s with it, and it just kept evolving and getting more and more to where it is now, to where you're like, shit, like, what are they saying? What are they talking about? And then you hear young girls singing to it, not really knowing what they're saying, but
Because it's
they're
been programmed in
right.
them.
And it's like, and if they don't, again, I always say it starts at the home.
Yeah. So
That's
it does start at the home, but we already know how the homes are.
right.
So I'm just going to say that I'm going to go ahead and disconnect myself from that community, because they will lump us all up as the Black community. I do
Exactly.
understand that, it's going to take generations and generations to, pull that mindset out of the gutter.
Because it didn't get that way overnight, so it's not going to change.
It's not going to
And
change.
it goes
overnight.
back to the video you sent me of the older white man who said to the Black woman,
Oh, yeah.
"Show me your pussy."
Oh my gosh.
And we had, so to everyone, so me and Speaks had this conversation. When we looked at that
I
video,
wish we
the
could
first
talk
thing
about
that popped in my mind
forgot
and
about
her
that.
mind, which I was happy that we were on the same line as far as the fact that he thought
It was okay.
to speak to her like that because of how the Black woman is being devalued and sexualized all over the place, to where he was like,
It's
I'm
okay.
just say this to her. And then she didn't even check him. She just laughed about it. And because my first thing to you was, if he was talking to a white woman or any other woman of any other race, he wouldn't have said that. He would just be like, hello. But because you were Black and he thinking, oh, she's probably real safe. She's probably doing this and doing that. He's like, let me see your pussy. And she laughs and giggles. And I'm like, now in his mind, it's acceptable because you just giggled and laughed because you think it's a joke.
And recording it.
Yeah. And putting it on social media like it's a joke. And you didn't say, like, I'm a
That's
woman
inappropriate.
who deserves respect just out of the decency of being a person.
A human being.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not an object for you to be. But that goes back to what we was talking about before, Sarah Bartman, and those that of you that don't know, it was like maybe the first recorded video vixen of in the Black community, Sarah Bartman, coming from a plantation, one of the
1800s.
In the 1800s.
Yeah.
She came from a plantation, a European gentleman offered her freedom, and she took the freedom and he took her traveling. But when he took her traveling around the world, it was putting her on display to show her body parts, because her body parts was like, big
she had
butt,
the big breasts and the big butt, which was different than the European woman. And with that, just to make a connection with everyone, she agreed to travel because his thing was, if you travel, you'll get your freedom.
Yeah.
She
never got her freedom.
She never did.
She never got her freedom. She until she died, she was on display, showing her body parts. And then after she died, they had her body parts in a museum.
Yeah, until what, the 90s?
Yeah, it was like 1997 when they pulled the body parts out of the museums, and then she didn't get back to her homeland until 2002. Her remains finally got back to her homeland, and she was finally buried. But that goes to show how much money was made off of the way the curves of her body. So I think because of the lack of knowledge in our community, because these things, if we was taught a lot of things when we was younger, maybe through the education system or I don't know, at home, I think we would value ourselves more, and we would understand that showing our bodies and being on display and making money in that way is not beneficial in the long run to your children and your children's children and children's children. And, I think we think about ourselves only now in this day and age. It's kind of just what you can get right now. Yeah. But yeah, that stemmed back from way back. And now we have a lot of Sarah Bartmans.
We do. That's what everyone wants to be, because they're like, oh,
I'm going to make some money.
Yeah.
But she wasn't happy doing what she was doing.
No.
Her whole thing was to get back home. And she never made it back home. But I feel like a lot of women that is in that industry, they do have a void and they are looking for something. You know,
Yeah.
and we do need money, but it's other ways that we can make money intellectually. But you know,
Yeah. And I mean, there's
it's
always going to
unfortunate.
be that area for entertainers to push the envelope and go to the extreme and do this and that. Is just when it appears to be that's all you're seeing, and then people are applauding it as if it's a means of stating being free and being independent and being an individual. And it's like, okay, but you're exploiting yourself to a degree that's not healthy.
Yeah.
So it's like, where is the limit or the line to say, yes, I should be free to do whatever I want? But again, as I went back to earlier, as I was saying, but if you're in a public eye and you have young women and men
Care about them.
that are influenced
Yeah.
by you should, but what's your support system? What do the people around you say? Or are they just okay with it because they're getting
They
money?
getting paid too.
Exactly.
And that's
they
why
don't want to stop the money.
And that's why I keep going back to, you know, it's two separate communities. Like, I don't like when they lump us all the way up and just say the Black community. I think I want to just say that I am identifying as being brown instead of Black now, because I'm in the brown community. If anybody wants to join me, it is for people that have value and respect and integrity, and we want to grow. You know, we want to get better. I don't see that a lot being portrayed on any platform where it's showing the Black community, even with like the housewives and like all of the reality shows. They're like
shows a whole
40-year-old women being mean to each other. Nobody's uplifting anyone. It's just all a shit show. But that sells. We do know that sells.
And that's the thing.
But unfortunately that imagery, it makes other people that don't know Black people think that that's how we are.
And that part right there.
That's what I don't like. Yeah. Because, girlfriend, like, I don't need my coworkers to be like, okay, boo.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that to me?
Right.
Have I ever called you boo?
Look,
and I've had that happen a lot.
I'm with you. I always
girlfriend. No, I don't even say girlfriend to my girlfriends.
I always took pride in whenever I interacted with any race outside of my own to present myself a certain way, just because I know that for some, all they know is what they see on TV. So they thinking you just like that. Right? And it's like, no, you know, we are diverse just like any other group of people.
But that's
but if you don't have anyone to be a representation of all the different types, and they only, because again, what's being highlighted as far as entertainment is only one type.
I know.
Like you said, it's so much more than
entertainment
that.
And take it. I'm sorry for interrupting.
I'm just saying that's, you know, what's being shown.
Yeah, but like just because you are being shown something, I still don't understand how you take that and put it all the way across the board of all these people of color, you know.
Well, it comes to, if that's all you're seeing on TV, and then the only ones that you interacted with are a replication of that, then you're like, well, maybe that's
I don't know.
All there is.
But so, what if, well, for me, I in my workplace, I don't think they have been around any Black people except for me, but allow me to be me and then address me accordingly. You never heard me say girlfriend or boo.
Yeah.
And it's that part. And I'm doing that for you. I'm doing that to you. I'm observing you, figuring out who you are or who you're presenting yourself to be, and then I'm acting accordingly. But for me, you automatically think that I say boo.
Yeah, that's always been funny.
I might have used the word boo, maybe. Like, I don't even use that word a lot.
Yeah, and it's just talk to me. Right?
Yeah,
we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, but if you have anything else, because I did say that I identify as being brown now.
You
Just want to
did,
put
you
that on the
did.
record. What's today's date?
The November 3rd,
I'm
2023.
brown. But I don't have, you know what I've noticed? Well, I've been known this, but I just want to say this.
Okay.
American, brown, black people, we don't have a nationality.
You said American brown black people.
Yeah, I wanted to go. I was going to say colored, Negro. I was going to use everything.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't have a nationality. But I would like to just be called American.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all, I mean, all of the names are a social construct that's been created.
It really is.
Anyway, so it's...
It is, but when you go to a country, another country, and they ask you, what are you? I'm American.
Yeah.
I don't think you should walk around and say I'm black.
Right.
Because you really aren't. You're American. I don't think you should say, unless you are
describing your color.
Right.
But the color has been used to describe
economic.
Well, yeah, but it's been used to describe,
social status.
Well, us as Black Americans. So black has been used to, African American, whatever you want to use, but it's been used to describe it the same way white has been used.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But why wouldn't they just be called Americans too? Why does you have to put white?
Again, that's just part of that. And you think about it, that programming, because when you take, real quick, because I know we're wrapping up, when you take a 3-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old are just really starting to talk really well, they don't say that. When they describe a person, just listen to a young child talk about another person in the room. They go by what they see, meaning their physical, what they have on. They'll say the fat person, or the big person.
Yeah,
they don't know the word fat.
Yeah, but they never
the
talk
big
about
person with the curly hair, the big person, or the skin, the little person, or the short person. Like they do, they don't say nothing about the color.
Oh, if they do, they say peach, brown.
So
they use the actual color.
Yeah, but it becomes tough because they start hearing the adults. Say black, white, and all of this. And then they learn that. And then they start speaking like that as they get into their older ages. But a child doesn't talk like that. So it's learned behavior.
Yeah, well, I hope that we can implement change within this conversation a little bit, somebody.
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to say, I remember my son when he was young. It was a funny moment because, again, it's a child, and children are so direct and honest with no filters because they haven't been impacted by the world,
indoctrinated,
and been tainted by the world yet to start having that. So I remember we was in the store, and he's like, "Hey, big lady," to this woman. And I'm like, no, I'm like, you don't say that. And he's looking at me because he's just going by what he sees. And he's like, hey, and I'm like, and she just laughs it off. Like, she was cool or whatever. But it just made me think about this thing, like with kids, like he didn't say white or black or whatever. He went by visual, what he saw. The color, it wasn't a part of the description yet.
And that is great.
Yeah.
Like, and she shouldn't have been offended because if you're a big lady, you're a big lady. You're a big lady.
I mean, and she was. I mean,
what? Nowadays, it would have been a whole uproar of like events if you would have called somebody a big lady. Body positivity.
It's so funny. The main women, because men don't do that with each other. You see that from the side of the women. The women who always say, positivity of image and all of that, they're usually not big. Outside of the ones who are big, the ones that they're small women, they don't want to be big. It's just funny to me. Like, you do all of this to look a certain way. Like one person said, I think it was a comedian. He was saying, all the women, he said, they praise what's the artist?
Lizzo.
Lizzo, her size, but when you say to them, "Oh, you remind me of Lizzo," or "You look like Lizzo," they're like, "No, I don't." Like they get an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought you said she was beautiful and this and that, but when I say you look like her, then you get angry and mad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just funny to me.
Yeah, but you do know that women, we do try to be nice.
Yeah.
About the appearance of another woman because we do know how fragile the self-esteem of a woman is. So I think that's where that comes from, because we do that because we have a sensitive self-esteem issue. Yeah,
but you don't want to be called Lizzo.
We don't want to be called Lizzo, but we're gonna make sure Lizzo have confidence in whatever she's doing.
Yeah, ignoring the reality.
The reality. We good at ignoring reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but okay.
So we're gonna wrap it on up. I wanted to end with a daggone
what?
A joke. But I forgot to. I do got a joke. I do got a joke.
Go ahead.
Okay, instead of the I want to do a joke.
All right.
Y'all got a joke?
I don't, but go ahead.
Oh man. So like sometimes we should have a joke in our back pocket.
I'm gonna have a joke next time.
Yeah. Okay. What is Bruce Lee's favorite drink?
Wait a minute. Bruce Lee's favorite drink. Sake. I don't know.
Okay. You gotta guess.
Something around kung fu.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, you almost there. His favorite drink is water.
What? Oh, water.
Yes.
Okay, water. Okay. I was a little slow for a second. Okay, water. I get you. Okay.
Oh, thank you for listening. I'm on my way to doing stand up.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that was good.
Okay, you can do an I am. You can end with your.
Posters about to throw himself.
Don't ever tell a joke again, Tiffany.
Yeah, I would say take time to be alone to understand you and not be afraid. So,
say it again.
Take time to be alone to get to know you and not be afraid.
I like that.
Because you find out some shit about yourself. You're like, but it takes time. But anyway, yeah. All right.
And last words for Kurt, our engineer.
Our engineer of the last 2.5 decades. Yeah, we jumped right in, but gotta put that out.
We still gotta do the shout out. Thank you, Kurt. This is Flux Studios, and we love it here. And we're so grateful to call this place home.
Okay.
Yeah. We're out, I guess.